Hey, everybody, welcome back to Freeze Frame, where we stop, take a moment to discuss the news of the week having to do with movies, TV, and pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, Ryder, joined as always by my co-host Luigi. We got some fun headlines for you guys this week. We want to thank you real quick, all you audio listeners on all the audio platforms out there. Thank you for listening. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We're on all social media. We appreciate you guys' support. We appreciate you guys commenting. We love responding to y'all and talking about this stuff. But without further ado, Luigi, I'm going to throw it off to you to get us started with the news this week.
I got a lot of news this week, which is fun because I feel like we always have so much, and we always have it from like every type of franchise, every type of streaming service. It never stops. The news never stops because we live in the 22nd century now, right? Or is it the 21st century?
I think it's I believe it's 21st. It's different. Yeah, it's like 1, 2.
Right. Well, we're close. We're close, but it's not going to stop, guys. And another person who's not going to stop, Ben Affleck. The Ben Affleck rumors never stop, guys. I don't know what it is about this man playing Batman or not playing Batman, but now there's another rumor this week. Apparently he's going to be playing the Batman in the Arkham Asylum series that is going to be about the Arkham Knight, and I'm just like, I thought the dude said a couple weeks ago that he was done after Flash, and then they're saying that maybe he's not done after Flash, that he's already signed on for multiple projects. And of course, you know, you're thinking to yourself like, well, why don't we just ask Ben Affleck, right? Obviously, that would just solve all our problems. The dude does not want to reveal what's going on. And rightfully so. He probably wants to keep a little hype around, you know, his property and who he is as an actor. Because actors, you know, if you're not in the mainstream, if you're not in the press, you usually don't get hired as often because, you know, it means not a lot of people are interested in going to see a movie you might be in. That's why Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is such a big mega sensation because he brings in the box office numbers every single time. Did you guys watch Skyscraper? I didn't, but that movie apparently was still a box office success. Yeah, crazy. But I want to read you guys here from Mikey Sutton. Apparently, AT&T is interested in pursuing a limited series that would air solely on HBO Max as part of the Snyderverse. So they don't want to necessarily continue the Snyderverse in their cinematic property, but maybe bring it into their HBO streaming service, which is kind of cool. And they're saying, it, like I said, it's going to have to do with the Arkham Knight video game. And hopefully we see Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke be a part of that because, man, that dude looks so awesome wearing that costume. Yep. Obviously, this is just one out of multiple rumors that we've heard surrounding Ben Affleck. So take all this with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, that Arkham Asylum series is probably going to be one of the best one. They said it's going to be a rogues gallery in there. Yes. I think TV adaptations about just villains is fun to explore, but having Batman's villains be the central focus is going to be really exciting. They're even saying that they might do an adaptation of The Killing Joke that pits Ben Affleck against Jared Leto's Joker. But we're not sure what will happen after The Flash. So everything is still up in the air. But there's obviously a lot of people speculating, a lot of people who want certain things. What do you want? You know, do you want the Arkham Knight series? You want him in Asylum? Do you want the Killing Joke movie? What are your thoughts overall?
I feel like the Arkham series, to a live action adaptation would be brilliant. And that's kind of what I want to see. Like you said, Rogues Gallery. I feel like Robert Pattinson's Batman is kind of the tip of the iceberg on that kind of spectrum. But I do agree. I personally love Ben Affleck. I want to see him come back. I think it'd be great for him to just continue on the franchise. And so I agree. Just keep up the hype and let's keep talking about him because I want this guy to succeed. You know.
Yeah, I feel bad as a little bit for him because of the fact that like the way the Batman. At first, when he first kind of put on the cape and the cowl, people were like, I don't know. But I think after Snyder Cut, like a lot of more people were like, well, Ben Affleck's actually a really good Batman. Like, pretty solid. And all it takes is just good writing. You know, he's already a good actor. So you just need good writing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was my first headline for today. I got a lot of stuff here about Disney. I got some collaborations that are ending. I have news here. I'll even give you this one of a couple cancellations that happened this week. We had the NBC cancel the Golden Globes. Last week we talked about the Golden Globes and how Scarlett Johansson had a different experience with them. But now NBC stepping up and saying they're not going to air the ceremony in 2022 and will give them a chance to come back in 2023 because of the stuff we talked about last week, kind of giving them a chance to get their stuff together, you know, not having any representation for their Black audience and not necessarily pushing for those films to be viewed by, you know, the majority of people in America. So Very interesting that we talked about it last week, and then this week it was like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna do it. I was like,
They're
wow.
taking action as soon as they heard us. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
We all know NBZ execs are listening to Freeze Frame going,
Yeah.
yeah, those guys are calling us out. We got to get on our shit.
Yeah. We kind of help run what goes on in this world. Anyways, but as for DC news, I don't have that much DC news, but I do have a Marvel headline that I get to. It's kind of a big one because I know a lot of people care about Fantastic Four and the rumors of the casting with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. I'm sure you've heard about a lot everywhere. So recently, Emily Blunt was on the Howard Stern show. And so I got some quotes directly from what she said on the show, kind of shooting down rumors. And so, again, we've heard this from Andrew Garfield shooting down, and we've heard from other actors shooting down whether or not they're in a role. And they end up being in the role because of NDAs and stuff. So this is what she said. She said, well, that's a fan casting to be Sue Storm, of course, the Miss Fantastic, or the what's her name?
Invisible Woman.
Invisible Woman? Okay, yeah.
Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, yeah.
Okay, so she said, I don't know if superhero movies are for me. I don't like them. I really don't. Direct quote. And so she was saying, no one has received a phone call. She told Howard, that's just people saying, wouldn't that be great? And then Howard proceeded to ask her, are you too good of an actress to really take that role seriously? Or kind of what's your mind with that sort of thing with superhero genres? And she said, it's not beneath me. I love Iron Man. And when I got offered Black Widow, I was obsessed with Iron Man. I wanted to work with Robert Downey Jr. It would have been amazing. Yeah. But I don't know if superhero movies are for me. They're not up my alley. I don't like them. I really don't. Direct quote. So, I mean, it's like, if she's like, I know Fantastic Four is a long way off, but even if they're giving her calls, I think it'd be interesting to see that she's doing a really good job at just getting the press off of her. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Don't think I am. I don't like superhero films, which would be a huge play. Imagine you're casted in this. And she loves it. She loves superheroes, you know.
Well, let me put a little perspective spin on you for Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, right? Okay. They have their own franchise with The Quiet Place. Why jump into a franchise where you're not going to be getting as much money for being involved in it? With A Quiet Place, I believe they're all producers. They're all kind of like, they're main actors. They're all kind of running and creating that whole world. To jump into something else where it's like you're going to be limited, probably get a smaller paycheck, you know. I just don't, and she's already kind of hinting at the fact she doesn't even like superhero movies. I just don't see her being casted in this. Like, if she's talking to Howard Stern's usually like the pinnacle of radio, right? Like if you go on Howard Stern and you're talking about something, you're usually pretty honest. So for her to say something like that makes me think like she probably just doesn't want to do it. And if she does get a call, she's just going to say no. She already had the chance to be Black Widow even, which I didn't know about. Which is absolutely crazy to think about. Like, imagine if Scarlett Johansson wasn't Black Widow, bro. Like, I would have been like,
of the world. Like, Tom Cruise was like going to be Iron Man, apparently. Like, a lot of different actors were going to be different people. Tom Hiddleston.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that poster where it's like in another universe and it's got like the Avengers and it's like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and it's like the Ghost Rider and it's like Elektra and Daredevil and it's like all of the other properties that didn't make it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Like multiversal properties. Yeah, that's definitely cool. But hey, we'll see what happens with her. But that's my kind of big Marvel headline. I got some other fun stuff too coming, like Disney stuff as well. I think we have the same one, so I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Yeah, I got a Disney headline here. Blackish has been renewed for the 8th and final season at ABC. Wow. If you've never watched Blackish, guys, that show is honestly one of the best when it comes to dealing with like Black American culture and talking about like what people who are a different color than you might be going through without your own knowledge or even just learning about their history and just their understanding a little bit deeper. There's episodes, I want to say, I think it was season 6, where they have episodes at the very end where they kind of deal with the possibility of divorce. And it's like a 3-episode arc. I believe it's a 3-episode arc, or it's not a 2-episode arc. It makes you cry every freaking time, dude. Like, it is the emotional resonance that comes out of that show and like the acting in that program, the music, it sucks you in and suddenly you're like, damn, like I don't want you guys to split apart. Like, and then obviously I'm not gonna spoil the way it ends, but like
nice.
It is so good. Like there's so many good episodes of Blackish that are out there. And Grownish, I've already talked about Grownish before on this show. But like Grownish to me is like one of the best like modern day college like survival shows out there that dictates depicts like kind of a more young adult kind of going into the world, you know, perspective. Exactly. And I think that's so needed. In fact, this is totally out of the blue, and this isn't even in my my kind of headline roster here. But Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. I don't know if you know about that show or if you ever watched it when you were a kid. It was a Nickelodeon show, and the guy who plays Ned, he's on TikTok now, and I actually saw a TikTok of him today where someone asked him like, "Hey, will we ever get a revival of Ned's Declassified?" And he basically said like, oddly enough, I had pitched a show. With Cookie and Mose, the other two people, and the original creators of Ned's Declassified, to go and do something for the 20-something-year-olds, like a surviving, how do you do your taxes, how to, roommates and dealing with relationships and friendships and work. And I was like, wow, that sounds very helpful.
Creative.
Like that could be
it would work.
Really awesome, right? It could work. And Nickelodeon shot him down and was like, no, we're not interested in doing that. And so everybody online was like, nobody asked for an iCarly revival, but we're asking you for this. Like, I was like low-key roasted, but I wish they would have gone for something like that. And I was even telling them like, you should totally just change the name to like Jeff's Guide for Surviving Your 20s or something,
True, yeah.
Like just change the name and
Make
just
your own,
do it.
Yeah. For real.
Because it's like you guys were the ones, and if you already have the original creators on it, like, just get in a room and just make something, Like,
yeah.
It was just so random, but it popped in my head just now.
Well, speaking of successful shows, let's talk about one that's not so good. Clueless was apparently getting a show revival, right? From Peacock, funny enough, but they shut it down, the reboot, after 9 months of working on this. So I read this and I was like, whoa, I didn't know. Original cast was going to come back. They had some original writers. However, CBS Studios already has plans to develop a brand new project, other than Clueless, maybe with the same kind of production crew, writers, but I don't know. I guess it just didn't work out because of the timing, and they just feel like the pilot probably wasn't working as well. It's just a lighter one.
They probably gave him like this timeline to write it, and then they probably reviewed it once it was done, and they were like, this wasn't very good.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
And speaking of things that weren't very good, this is going to be a bit of a transition here. Seth Rogen came out this week and said that he's no longer going to be working with longtime collaborator James Franco. I'm actually going to read you guys directly from the article here. It says, Seth Rogen confirmed in an interview with the Sunday Times that he does not plan to work with James Franco following several allegations of sexual misconduct made against the actor. Franco was accused in 2018 of forcing several of his acting students into sexual situations. A lawsuit on the matter was settled in February. Rogen and Franco starred together on the cult classic series Freaks and Geeks before teaming up on films such as Pineapple Express, This Is the End, The Disaster Artist, and The Interview, which I'm sure we've all seen. I also look back to that interview in 2018 where I comment that I would keep working with James, Rogen told The Times, and the truth is that I have not and do not plan to right now. When asked if the allegations against Franco affected their personal relationship as much as their professional relationship, Rogen responded, I don't know if I can define that right now during this interview. I can say it, it has changed many things in our relationship and our dynamic. Rogen's comments come a month after the Disaster Artist co-star Charlene Yee took to Instagram to call out the predatory and toxic behavior that took place during the film's making. Yee said she tried to quit the movie because of the allegations against Franco, and she singled out producer Rogen as being among enablers who need to be held accountable. Now, obviously, I want to go into this and just say, it is absolutely shocking. I didn't even know about the Charlene Yee thing until I actually read the bottom of this story, and I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize that she had come out and said something about the Disaster Artist, because the Disaster Artist was like a big deal when it came out. Tommy Wiseau, everybody loved the movie. And, James Franco actually had those allegations come out like the week of the Golden Globes, and then he still won a Golden Globe for his performance in that, for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And people were like upset, and I actually was at the ceremony when he received that award, I actually saw James Franco walk through the little like lobby area, and I just want to put this out there, guys. He's a bit of he walks a bit creepy. Like he's got like a Slender Man walk.
Oh my god!
And he's like gazing through like almost like predatory like hunter like looking around like eyeing out the whole room as he walks, and I was just kind of like, that's a weird walk, dude. Like, you got a weird walk. And then right behind him was his little brother, Dave Franco. Looks like a normal dude, just like casual, like normal walk. I was like, you guys are like stark contrast, like polar opposites. Yeah, it's super weird. I know we talked about some of this stuff last week, and we understand that sexual harassment and sexual assault is a very heavy topic to talk about. Personally, you guys should know, at least if you heard it in the last week's episode, I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to this stuff here in Hollywood. And I think putting a spotlight on it and even just discussing it and talking about it just for a couple seconds is important. And for anybody out there who has experienced these things, whether it's in Hollywood or in your own business, please make sure to talk to somebody that you trust, or even just email us or send us a message, and, you know, maybe we can talk about it, or we can help you, you know, find someone who can help you get out of that situation. Or, you know, we're always willing to help people get out of, you know, messes like this. And I think any type of, you know, relationship that gets to this point is just a mess. So yeah.
Thanks for saying that. Appreciate it.
Don't enable these people. Don't enable them, you know, don't enable them. And I think that's what Seth Rogen is getting at here. Like, I think it hit him after hearing her say this. I think he was like, I can't ever work with this. Like, to be called an enabler, I feel like he's like, oh man, you know, like that's like,
they were such best friends, and he probably was just like, nah, not my buddy. But now it's like, wow, yeah, I can't, you know, there's other things that are important than that.
Yeah. And I feel bad for her. I hope she finds peace in that. So yeah.
Well, while they aren't friends anymore, perhaps there are some people that are friends. The cast of Friends. Ooh. After the reboot coming on HBO Max, titled The One Where They Got Back Together, they showed a final little teaser of the entire cast, their backs as they're walking on the street. It's coming May 27th, and they have a little teaser with it, and of course the title that we just said, but it's a whole reunion special. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a whole series or just like one like hour long, maybe just one episode of a show. But they're doing the reunion, and you can look forward to it, man. It's coming.
Dude, that's crazy to think about, bro. Like, I mean, I think everybody at some point probably thought they're going to have to do a Friends reunion. Like, that show was so big in the the 2009, what was it, 1990s to 2000s? It was like that. Like, I think it ended in 2000, 2001, something like that. But, like, I think anybody who had watched that show and watched it end was like, man, if they don't bring them back 10, 20, 30 years from now to see how they're doing, you know, you'd be missing out.
Absolutely.
Which I think it works for some shows, and I think it doesn't work for all. Like, you can't do that for everything, you know?
Yeah,
it's
iCarly. Can they do that for iCarly?
And like, let me say this about iCarly. Like, they released a little, like, promo of Spencer and Carly, like, going through the loft of, like, Spencer's new apartment now that he's rich. And I personally kind of like that, like, angle that they went with him. He went and got rich off the sculptures. And I'm like, that makes sense to the story. You know, he's an artist that became very successful because, you know, you watched iCarly, you saw all the different types of art he would make there. But it was just funny because you could tell that they still have this very like brother sister dynamic. Yeah, and I'm actually like, I'm a little excited for iCarly to come back. I don't know if I'm gonna like it when it does, but
I got you. I'm there. I watch it.
Well, they said that they're trying to make the show for the same people who watched it when they were kids. So they want it to be for like the 20-somethings kind of dealing with that like transition in life. So we'll see.
That's interesting. Interesting for sure. Okay. Oh, well, I'll go ahead and get to this one real quick. This is kind of this is a huge one as well, but it's quick. Knives Out 2 extended their cast because they're announcing more and more people, and they had like a back-to-back for 3 days. Kathryn Hahn is joining the cast. Everybody was losing their minds.
Wow.
Because they're like, it was Agatha all along. She's the murderer in this movie. They were posting memes about that. Also,
let's be honest, it probably will be, right?
Maybe. I mean, because, right, that's what you always try to figure when they hire actors like that. It's like, that person looks like she'd be bad. Or the good guy.
Or she's already played other villain roles. Let's just have her play a villain.
Yeah. You kind of figure it out in the movie, but who knows? We got Dave Bautista, Janelle Monae, and Edward Norton were also recently added to the cast.
That's
of
heavy.
Course, yeah, it's gonna be huge. I can imagine they're just gonna keep adding more.
Well, the thing is, it has to be a completely new cast, right?
Yeah,
it would. So then that makes sense. Wow.
The only one that's coming back.
Zombies.
Yeah, the only one that's coming back is Daniel Craig. And then Deadline, of course, the reporter, they reported in March Netflix was closing a deal. We talked about it before, $400+ million for the next 2 installments.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how they're getting these big actors. They're paying so much.
Right.
They're paying so much for them. But
that makes sense, though. That does make sense because if Daniel Craig and the other guy are getting $100 million each, that means $200 million is just for probably just the actors.
Budget.
Right.
And,
who do you want? You know.
Yeah. Anybody,
where do you guys want to shoot? You know, like
yeah.
I feel like Edward Norton is like one of those actors that's like, I don't do projects for less than $10 million.
Oh yeah, I feel like same.
he's so established. He's way
huge.
bigger than I think Kathryn Hahn and Janelle Monae and Dave Bautista for sure.
Yeah,
like Dave Bautista's on the rise for sure. Like I think
100%.
he's 100% huge. And I got an update here from him.
Okay.
I can actually read it now. He was talking about why he's kind of upset about the whole Drax thing, and I'll read you directly what it's a little bit of a big quote, but he said, "I think they really missed the ball with Drax. He has such a great backstory. Selfishly, as a performer, that would have given me the opportunity to show different sides of Drax, emotionally and physically as well. Because if you notice, Drax, although he looks like a badass, you look at him and he looks terrifying, but Drax gets his ass kicked more than any other Marvel character." The whole destroyer thing, they just threw that out the window. People just fell so in love with the comedic side of Drax that they tapped into it more. Then they really dug a hole into it. But we missed a huge boat on that character, and I don't think it'll ever come back around. But I'm really just looking forward to finishing out this whole journey. So, I feel that. Dave Bautista probably a little disappointed that he never got to hit Thanos as Drax, even though that was his whole. Yeah, in Guardians, he's like, "I'm gonna kill Thanos," and then right? He never once gets to hit him or even is a part of the big fight at the end, which is a little disappointing. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be released in theaters on May 5th, 2023. So we're about less than a year away now. And James Gunn has reported that the soundtrack for Volume 3 has been completed. So that's exciting. At least we're moving along. And speaking of James Gunn is no longer, and this is going to be interesting because this is going to spin a little bit of our rumor mill here. He says he's no longer interested in helming a Thunderbolts MCU film. He says that the Suicide Squad scratched that itch for me. Now, we've talked about Thunderbolts here, and I thought it was so interesting that he specifically was like, "Oh, I don't want to do a Thunderbolts film," and it's
because it's happening.
Because it's happening exactly. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so at least we were right about that. There is a film that's going to be developed. It's not going to be by James Gunn. He said he's already. I feel like he's at the point where he's like, I don't think I want to do superhero movies right now. I want to do something completely unrelated and
he's just done chewed back to back. He's ready to.
And major back to back, and he could honestly, if James Gunn wanted to, he could probably take a break. He could probably take a break for a couple months and just be like, I don't want to work. I got 2 big movies coming, I can just relax. But I know the dude doesn't relax. He's got the holiday special right after, so he's just moving. He's a nonstop machine, which I think makes him one of the greatest directors we've seen in the last couple of years, which is really awesome. I'm excited about that. But speaking of DC, I want to just talk about this. Margot Robbie apparently this week haggled the DC executives about bringing Poison Ivy into the DCEU, saying she wants her friend to come into the universe. And if you have watched Harley Quinn, it's a little bit more than just a friend.
Yeah, more than a friendship.
We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this much. Suicide Squad apparently got an R rating this week, and rightfully so, because apparently the movie has strong violence, gore, graphic nudity, which I'm like, and then drug use, maybe drug use and sexual references. So this movie's gonna be intense. It's about as hard, or I was about to say, it's hard about as hard R as it gets. But I was like, I think
they're rightly so though.
I was gonna say, but there's another movie that kind of challenged that kind of M14 line, which was Spiral. From the Book of Saul. It actually released this week on Friday, a couple days ago, and apparently that the creators talked about how they actually struggled to get that R rating because some of their traps were so gory and they were so bloody that the networks were like, well, the rating system, Nielsen was like, well, I don't know how we're gonna maybe. Yeah, so they were trying to bring down some of the traps or maybe re-edit some of the footage so it doesn't, so they could kind of be in the parameters. Apparently the movie has had some bad Rotten Tomato ratings already. Some people say that, I want to read you 2 quotes from 2 critics. They said, someone said, Spiral is by far from perfect, but it's the most exciting Saw inspired film since Saw 2, which in my opinion, Saw 2 is the very best one of the best Saw movies if you've ever watched it. And then somebody else said, I think the idea is that they will continue the Saw franchise as long as people keep going to see the movies. as long as people show interest and continue to march to the theaters. So we talked about, they already saw 10 in development. They already got a TV show that they kind of want to do. But I want to watch this movie. I want to watch Chris Rock. I want to watch Samuel L. Jackson. I want to see what they do and see where they take things, because I feel like they're really good actors. A lot of people like to watch Samuel L. Jackson, and I feel like he's either gonna get chopped up or Chris Rock's gonna get chopped up, or they might both get chopped up.
Yeah, who knows? It always happens like that, where like there's a separate cop and he's like, "Game over," and then he shuts the door. Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, well, I'll get to some of my light news here because it's a heavy light news week. Got a lot of light news. Okay, so let's start off. What If is listed with an August release date, according to Entertainment Weekly. They were talking on a post and they showed August, so you might be seeing that cartoon Marvel show coming soon for Disney Plus. First trailer for Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, drops Monday. So probably have seen this. It's coming out soon. It's gonna be the final chapter for the film. There was a little teaser. It looked kind of cool. So I'm excited to see that one. And then Michael Myers is returning again. They released a new photo from Halloween Kills. That film's coming out October 15th, and it's gonna be part of a whole like finale trilogy with what's her face? That actress. I forgot her name. The classic actress from the Halloween franchise.
You talk about Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis. Thank you. Yes. So Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael. And then Nickelodeon to launch an Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast. I don't know if you heard about this. You're wearing the shirt.
Let's go!
Yeah. I'm kind of hear your thoughts.
I heard about this, but you want to reveal who the people who are going to be in the podcast? Because I didn't know that until I read it on your
Okay,
page.
I think you should because this is you're hyped about Avatar more than me.
I mean, I am hyped about Avatar. I just let me scroll down here. Yeah. It says Nickelodeon is going to launch, and we're going to have the Zuko voice actor and the Korra voice actor. Dante Basco voices Zuko. Jeanette Varney voices Korra. And they're going to be breaking down every episode with behind-the-scenes trivia. Now, personally, I was excited when I heard that they were making a podcast, but I was like, what is this going to be about? Like, I didn't really go investigate. And now that I hear this, I'm like, yo, this is so exciting.
Perfect.
Like, I love that. Like, I love that. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is a good move for a company. Like, the Avatar Studios move, excellent. The freaking making them a podcast that they literally talk about whatever episode or show that or movie or whatever they drop, and then having literally the voice actors who people love Zuko, people love Korra, having them talk about it is majorly smart for a franchise.
Good place.
Like, exactly.
Kind of like
just good.
Kind of like Talking
place.
Dead. Like they're I think they're following with like the Walking Dead type.
Right.
Strategy.
With Chris Hardwick, where he had all those. He used to do Talking Bad, Talking Dead, everybody Talking Mad Men, all those shows. He just has them all. But Chris Hardwick, what happened to that dude? He kind of fell out a little bit, right? He created Nerdist, and then he just kind of like fell out.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot going on the AMC side things where they're just like, it's kind of dying down. The hype is dying, so we don't need a talk show maybe anymore on it.
That's
something
true.
like that. Who knows?
That's true. But he was also another one who had some shit come out about him. I'm telling you, man, it's like
a lot of them. Yeah, it's surprising
a lot of these people, and it was a big deal because he apparently would like yell at people he worked with, like scream at them, and like was a very like angry person outside. And I think he was dating somebody who actually came out and like exposed him, and I was like, wow, like I've watched him on the Talking Dead show for like years, and then you tell me this, I'm like, what?
Still surprising.
Crazy stuff. Speaking of one of the craziest things we probably read this week, we talked about Brie Larson last week, and obviously the changing of Captain Marvel to the Marvels. We had somebody comment on our YouTube video talking about how the reason that they did this is because apparently it was to appease the black community. And first of all, that was never in my head, right? I had never in my life had thought, oh yeah, change the name of Captain Marvel to like Marvels. Help black people feel more comfortable with this character or this movie. But apparently they're saying that there's a split in our community, in the Marvel cinematic community, that is like they view Monica Rambeau as the true Captain Marvel, and then there's people who view Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. What's her actual name? Not Captain Marvel in the movie.
Jeez, it's Carol Danvers. Yeah, there
Carol
we go.
Danvers, right? They view her as the Captain Marvel, and then others that view Monica Rambeau. So then when they changed it to the Marvels, it was just like, oh, now everyone is Captain Marvel, right? Yeah. But I had never even thought about that. And when this dude commented on our YouTube channel about it on last week's episode, I was like, where did you even hear this? Or like, who even thought about that? Like, I've never once ran into anybody who's like, oh, she's not the real Captain Marvel like Monica Rambeau is. I've never once heard that, and I scoured the internet all day, every day. So it was just kind of weird for me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people didn't even know Monica Rambeau until WandaVision, and then they started looking her up, and she's Photon or Spectrum, but just like, a lot of characters, they take a lot of personas. Now, Sam Wilson is Cap, just like in the comics, like everybody else. But yeah, I mean, sure, I feel like Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel, but make Monica Rambeau Photon or Spectrum, make her a cool hero. But I get the Marvels is a cool thing to kind of, encompass all of them, which is kind of cool, because we got, Miss Marvel now. So it fits. But I don't know if it goes that deep. Who knows? Maybe.
Well, I mean, they're apparently saying here that Brie Larson might not be around much longer. That she might be leaving the MCU, and this is just kind of like a prelude to that, Okay. And I'm
Transition.
just like, okay, I get that. Then maybe the third Captain Marvel film will literally just be about Monica Rambeau, right?
Yeah.
Which I like her as an actress, and I love her character, so I'd love to kind of see that exploration. But I just don't like the Brie Larson hate. I've never understood the Brie Larson hate. I actually saw a tweet this weekend that was like, if you hate these two characters, and it was like Anthony Mackie's the Falcon and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, and it was like, if you hate these characters, I don't trust you. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of my vibe. I'm in the same boat. Like, why hate on these characters just because you didn't like the writing or you didn't like their portrayal? It's like, at least we got a portrayal, at least we received it. And now we get actors like Monica coming in, or even Iman Vellani's Mrs. Marvel coming in to revitalize that movie and that franchise, which I think is great. As far as Brie Larson leaving, if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm not gonna sit here and cry about it.
Absolutely. Yep. Let's see. Right here, I was looking at your thing. Well, we'll continue on with some Disney news. This is more Bob Chapek, which is one of the heads of Walt Disney Company, who's talking about, two big new Disney movies that are going to hit theaters before streaming. Now, I think you have some of the headline stuff here as well. Maybe we could talk about this. Chapek announced Thursday, Ryan Reynolds' video game action comedy Free Guy and Marvel martial arts epic Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings will have a 45-day theatrical window, and then they shift to Disney+. So, pre-pandemic, they were saying the window of exclusivity for theaters was typically a rigid 90 days. But now that things are changing, he says, we'll continue to watch the evolution of the recovery of the theatrical marketplace and use that flexibility to make the right call at the right time. But as of now, it's kind of up in the air whether or not this Disney Plus transition is going to happen. But I mean, do you think personally, I want to ask, do you think that keeping them in the theaters is good and then transitioning to Disney Plus, or do you think it should just be a theater thing, keep that separation? How do you feel about that?
This is one of the reasons I don't like Disney, just because they do stuff like this. I am sick. I am sick of the $30. Like, stop charging people $30 to watch your movies that are not that amazing. Like, you're not creating Oscar-worthy movies. You're just making superhero films. You don't charge me $30 on top of your service. Like, you should have never created Disney Plus if you were gonna start charging like this. Like, it goes against every other streaming service. No other streaming service does this, only Disney. And that's what makes me upset about it, because it's like they've chosen to kind of stand out, but stand out in the worst way possible, And actually, genuinely, they actually lost over 20 million subscribers to Disney Plus ever since Mandalorian ended. I'm sorry, Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended. When Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended, they lost 20 million subscribers. So that's a bunch of people who are like, we're just here for the Marvel stuff, but I'm not going to be paying for anything else, And that just shows me how there's a lot of people who have that same kind of thought process that I do, that I don't want to be charged for more content when I'm already paying for your streaming service. And it's unfortunate because, we all love Marvel, we all love Star Wars, we all love, Pixar and other properties, but when you do something like that, it just makes you seem like you're just in it for the money and you're just a shady, corporate, monopoly that's just trying to make money off of us. And I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah. It's like it pushes you to go to the theater more, You want to go to the theaters and you want to get the tickets, because if it's more than one person, it equals up to $40-$50. So I understand it's like you're paying the $30 because you're trying to get that theatrical ticket costs, but if you put it to your streaming service that you're charging, then maybe it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't sit right. You know what I mean? But I feel that.
Well, even like HBO Max, right? They had said this year that they were going to do 1 month and then the movie was going to go off their service. Wonder Woman 1984 just came back today, right? So it's back on HBO Max, and it's like, okay, I think it was just for January that we had Wonder Woman 1984. So January was there. It left February, March, April. So February, March, April, what is it, mid-May? So about 3.5 months, and then the movie comes back. I'm like, You should just not have taken it out of the service. Like, you should have just left it there, you know? It's like, I feel like these people are, like, the executives of these companies are thinking about the money side of stuff and not, like, the logic behind, like, hey, how about we just leave it here and also have the option to go watch it in theaters? Like, if you're going to offer both, just offer both completely. Don't try to limit one after a month or only 45 days in the theater and stuff like that. I'm just like, no, just, I like watching movies in the theater, bro. Like, I love watching movies. Like, there's nothing like watching a film with Dolby surround sound on an IMAX screen. It's breathtaking. It's life-changing sometimes. And it's you know, that emotional resonance that you don't usually get if you're watching it on a small screen or even on your phone. So I'm not for, you know, limiting films to be only on streaming services. But if you're going to do streaming and movies, just open the doors completely. Don't just tease it. You know what I mean?
Okay. I hear you. Interesting. So, like to hear your take, finally.
I wanna hear your take on this because this is huge in my opinion.
Here we go.
This is like the biggest news I think I found this week, and I saved it for like a little bit halfway through this thing. Doctor Strange 2 had their cast list released this week, and obviously, if you don't like things being spoiled for you, that obviously, you know, you can fast forward just a couple minutes, but the movie is called The Multiverse of Madness, right? So obviously we're going to be talking about the multiverse. It says here, a cast list has come out talking about an actor named John Prophet is in line to play a character named New Yorker 616. And at first you're thinking, oh, that character's name sounds very generic as an afterthought. However, if you know about Marvel Comics, that is actually the universe designated specifically for the comics universe. The 616, Earth 616 is its designation. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is Earth 199999, right? And in this movie, we're going to see them cross. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I had said that Marvel is trying to make their comics, their TV, and their movie universe come together? And look at that. Just a couple of months later, it's being revealed teased, and it's going to be teased. It's official. We don't know what the impact's going to be, you know, once this happens. Maybe it's just one character. Maybe it's a whole world that they go into. Is Doctor Strange going there for help, or is that guy, they bringing him here? Who knows? There's a lot of, like, things up in the air, obviously. But I just thought that the fact that they said New Yorker 616, I'm like,
ooh. Makes me think of Into the Spider-Verse, man, and those times in that period, because there's different New Yorks and there's different worlds, of course. So, and what's up?
No, because I'm even thinking about it in the sense of, like, Wanda's already in this, right?
Yeah.
If you go Earth 616, that's already has all the mutants established in that world, right? It's the comic universe.
Yeah.
So that could be the way that they bring in the mutants in Multiverse of Madness. Even if it's just like, hey, she removed them all from the comics and brought them into the cinematic universe. And it's like, whoa, you know, like that's what I can see happening.
Yeah. Because we didn't get it in WandaVision, which we thought, but this, you're right. It could be the one where she does the no more mutants, or she's like more mutants, and she wants to find her kids, which, you know, maybe her kids exist in another reality and they're mutants, and just all this stuff. Yeah, but definitely interesting to speculate, man. But this is cool. New York 616. We're getting insight, right? Dude. It's coming.
When I saw this, I was like, bro, Ryder's gonna freak. Like, I kind of flipped when I first saw it. I was like, what? And then it was just like, oh, wow. Like, this movie's just getting more exciting. And it's just a small tease, you know, like, oh, they released the cast list, like, super, oh, just throw it out there, you know. And if you're not looking for this stuff, you don't know. But you know us, we're always searching for this stuff, trying to bring you the latest, trying to bring you all the theories and rumors and updates and news, because that's just what we do here. And I want to talk about this this story that actually came out. It's by Barry Jenkins, the guy who wrote Moonlight in 2017, won an Oscar for it. He's actually the director of the Underground Railroad. It's a series that is coming to Amazon, and apparently it's an adaptation of Colson Whitehead's novel, and it is apparently beautiful, right? It's a masterpiece. I was reading some reviews of it, but this is a little bit of a synopsis. It says here, The Underground Railroad, a 10-episode adaptation of Colson Whitehead's National Book Award and Pulitzer Prize-winning 2016 novel, in its portrayal of Cora Tuso Medu, a slave running less toward freedom than she is running away from slavery. I really like the way they describe that, because I was like, wow, that's that already kind of resonates in the time, like the era that they're trying to kind of tap into. It says here, the series tells a story about systemic racism and the promiscuousness of white supremacy, offering an uncompromising look at the lasting and ongoing burdens of white America's inhumane treatment of Black Americans. And I read a little bit more about this, and apparently every chapter of the story is like showing a different route, that like a different time that she had, I guess. Like maybe one explores like her at the plantation, and then the next one shows her escaping, and then the next one shows her like dealing with different situations as she's escaping and trying to get to the freedom. Instead of it all just being like, oh, hey, it's a group. It's like this one, I think it's this one slave she finds her freedom through this underground railroad. So it's a lot. Like the way they said it, it's not just like heavy, like, oh, it's just like, oh, man, you know, you're gonna feel like really tense, but it's very it's like a narrative that's played out a lot better. And they said that surprisingly, you know, a book being made for TV, it felt like a TV watch, you know, like it definitely felt like everything was paced out well to where you felt like, wow, I want to watch the next episode, and it didn't feel so like burdenous or heavy on the soul. I definitely want to check it out, dude. I think it just released. Is it
Amazon Prime or right? Or
I think it is Amazon Prime. I've
been seeing billboards everywhere.
Definitely
seems interesting.
I wanna say it's out already. Hold on.
It's okay. I mean, like if it's not, I feel like it's coming out soon. No, you're looking it up.
Yeah. I'm looking it up, but it doesn't say.
No release date. They don't want nobody to know.
Yeah, I know, right? No release date on. No, seriously. Here, if you want to go through your next one, I'll just keep looking it up.
All right, all good. Okay, so I'll get through some light ones. Here's some Star Wars ones. Star Wars Celebration makes an announcement. They're having a hyperspace jump, and they're moving up their May 26th to May 29th in 2022 date for the celebration. So that's coming next year. Exciting. And then also talking about Star Wars, Ewan McGregor talks about shooting for Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series on Disney Plus, and he says he filmed a scene with a special someone in his life for Obi-Wan on May 4th, which was, you know, of course, May the 4th, big holiday. He said on Jimmy Kimmel, it's someone who hasn't been on screen before, but is someone very special in his life. So that's kind of huge. I'm like, wow, I wonder, some huge actor maybe, or perhaps it's just a character in the lore that he appreciates, but still exciting to say the least.
Right. No, absolutely.
Did you find?
Yeah, it seems like they have the whole show's out. I'm looking at here.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like they only have some of the episodes out and they're doing like a week by week release, or what the situation is. But you can definitely watch the first couple episodes. It's already out. And surprisingly, despite what I've been reading online from critics, this thing has a 6.4 rating on Amazon and a 2.5 star rating. Wow, people are vicious, bro. Okay. I don't know. Man. I don't know if people just don't like the historical side of things, or even just the fact that there's the portrayal. You know what I don't like? This is a lot of different things. I want to say this. There are times where you might see a tweet, or you might see a headline, or you might see a story out there, and you go look at the comments or the tweets underneath it on the whole thread, and they're all one opinion. Like everybody has the same opinion, and I just want people to know that sometimes those things happen. Those things are called echo chambers, where everybody's just saying the same thing to each other and everybody's just agreeing with everybody. Just know that doesn't mean that that's just the only opinion. That's the only perspective out there, because that's not true. But there are still people out there who are racist and don't like to support Black art and Black culture, which is very disappointing out here in America that still happens. But just know that could be what happens. That there could have been people who, you know, made something online like, hey, let's go review bomb this and give it 1 star, because that's just the way people are, and it's unfortunate. I'm gonna watch this series, and I'm gonna take it in, and I'm gonna
let me know what you think.
Really try to do a good job of paying attention to what it's talking about and what it's trying to convey, and I'll come and talk about it as I watch it more and more. I'm gonna try to watch it this week. But yeah, just wanted to point that out in case nobody knew what an echo chamber was or has experienced that themselves, where it's like you go to a tweet and it's like everybody is saying the same thing, and you're like, wait, my opinion doesn't match up with that. Well, should I even say something? Sometimes it's good to say something, because it makes you stand out, and it helps people understand that there's not just one point of view on certain things. which is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for that. All right, well, I'll get through more of my lighter headlines. I do have some more bigger stuff, but I just want to get through these because they're just real quick and easy. Chris Pratt and Omar Sy are ready to take on the water in a new BTS shot from Jurassic World Dominion. This is the first photo we've seen from the movie, and who knows, they're still doing production on it, so I don't think we'll be seeing a trailer soon, but of course the hype just grows for that movie. And then we had recently a new Venom 2 trailer released, and I don't know, Luigi, did you see it?
I still haven't watched that. No, I have not watched Let There Be Carnage.
Okay, well, it's pretty cool, and I kind of want to point out some spoilers in the trailer, if that's cool, because there's some Easter egg and stuff. The Daily Bugle logo in the Venom 2, the guy, he was holding up a magazines, the Daily Bugle, it was the same font as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Kind of cool there. Let's see. Also, there were spiders killed in the trailer, hinting at a possible cameo maybe from Tom Holland. I know we've been talking that there probably will because Sony, they're connecting there. But they showed him close-ups and spiders, and he kept crushing them. So
I think
that's kind of hinting at something.
I think they're gonna bring back Tobey Maguire for that. I think they're gonna not do.
You think
Tom
it's gonna
Holland.
be Tobey's universe?
I think it's either gonna be Tobey or Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, I
don't think people are saying it fits better for Andrew. Yeah.
I think it fits better for any of them except Tom Holland. Like I don't want Tom Holland to leave the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like let him be in Earth 199999, and then these other people can do the Sony verse, which is Earth 19 Sony, whatever. Like I know that they've already talked about it, and we talked about it here, but to bring Tom Holland into that, I think would just it doesn't quite fit the same vibe as the Marvel world. Like I feel Venom was a great movie with Tom Hardy. I think he did a great job portraying that, and I feel like he has enough of that internal conflict where I could see him being on the side of Spider-Man, but also attacking him at the same time. Which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I want to watch the trailer now. Now that you said that, I'm like,
there was also busy. Yeah, there was also seen on a magazine, I think it was the Daily Bugle, where text said Avengers and something Nightmare. So people were like already saying, "Oh, Nightmare the villain," but maybe it's just like saying they're in a nightmare. Yeah, Mephisto, some crap like that. But Avengers was seen. It was Vengers. So I mean, it's probably Avengers. And then also director Andy Serkis teases troubled romance around Naomi Harris's Shriek. Of course, she's another variation of the symbiote, whatever, however you want to say symbiote. He said she forms a very strong lifelong relationship with her childhood sweetheart, who I'm not going to give away. So maybe it could be Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's character is, Venom, Eddie Brock. Maybe that's him or somebody else. But we're going to see more than just Carnage. We're going to see more than one symbiote, which is pretty cool. And then, I'll get into this one. This is another quick headline. First look at Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone. We have a first photo released for Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, this is funny. I don't know if you saw this, but there was one post saying you can hardly recognize him.
I did see
Leo.
That, yeah.
And so, which I thought was kind of funny. People proceeded to retweet it and question which one is he? Is he the guy or is he the girl? Because he looks completely normal. He looks completely fine.
Right. No, you could totally tell that it was Leo. Like I was like, he just looks skinny and like pale.
Yeah, it's just the character. But I'm like, it doesn't look unrecognizable. I thought that was silly.
He doesn't look like Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Where it's like completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Like you can totally still tell. I'm going to run through some of these just to get through it a little faster. Misha Green has finished the first draft of her Tomb Raider sequel and reveals the current title is Tomb Raider Obsidian. Exciting.
Oh.
Robert Eggers' The Northman releases on April 8th, 2022 in theaters. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, Nicole Kidman, Alexander Skarsgård, and Bjork. The film explores how far a Viking prince would go to seek justice for his murdered father. Now that one sounds really interesting. I know I'm running through these, but I'm like, whoa, that's a good cast. That's a good cast list, bro. This one was funny. Andrew Garfield said this week that if he was ever desperate for money, he said, "I will charge people for me to whisper in their ear, 'You better lawyer up, asshole,'" which is one of his most famous lines from The Social Network. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, "Hey, here's $100," and then he just comes and whispers in your ear. I totally get it as my ringtone. Like, you just like someone calls me, "You better lawyer up, asshole." Like, what the? People would be tripping. Like, what is that? We had another. Another headline here, a Bridgerton spin-off series is now in the works at Netflix. The series will follow Queen Charlotte's origin story alongside a young Violet Bridgerton and young Lady Danbury. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I don't watch Bridgerton. I don't really know much about the show. I know we had Regine Page, he's out of there. It got renewed for like 5 seasons. It's got its own spin-off. What is so good about this show? Geez. What did they do that was just like, wow, let's create a whole we need a whole universe here, 5 shows, all this stuff. But anyways, we got also this week a new look at Disney Plus's Turner and Hooch series that has been released.
Oh, nice.
It was a cool pick. It looks exciting. We also got a new look at The Woman in the Window, which is about to release this week, actually, which is very exciting after many delays.
Came out already.
Did it come out already?
It finally came out. Yeah, I saw it
so it's out
last
now.
night. It just came out, though. I think yesterday. Like, literally.
You watched it?
Yeah, I checked it out, dude. It's actually pretty good.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro.
I give it a great rating.
It was a trip, right? She's like, you've never met me before? What? Uh-huh. She's like,
I know.
What?
yeah. You're just freaking out. It deals with a lot of cool themes that I think haven't really, just themes that should be talked about. And it was cool. I enjoyed it.
We also have here Margot Robbie says a Birds of Prey sequel isn't in the works at the moment. I don't know if that is on the horizon anytime soon, she says. I don't think it's a no, but no, there's no sequel in the works that I'm aware of at this stage. Did you guys like Birds of Prey? I personally really did. I enjoyed the movie. I love the police kind of station scene. That's what the word I was like. I was like police station scene where she kind of comes in and it's like, it kind of tackles everybody. One of the best in my opinion. Right here, I have a CG animated Ultraman film is in the works at Netflix. I don't know if you know about Ultraman. It is a Japanese series that has been very popular for a lot of years. And it's in partnership with Tsuburaya, which is, I guess, the original creators. It's going to be an animated TV show that is in the works, but also a film. And I'll read you the little synopsis here. It says, the film will follow Ken Sato, a superstar baseball player who returns to Japan to become the latest hero to carry the mantle of Ultraman. His plans go awry, however, when he is compelled to raise a newborn kaiju monster, the offspring of his greatest enemy, as his own child. Sato will also have to contend with his relationship with his estranged father and the schemes of the kaiju defense force. That sounds exciting, but I know nothing about Ultraman. Like, I've never heard about it until I saw this article, and I was like, this sounds cool. But it's once again, like, we're just coming up with more superhero properties and really investing in the superheroes and like push superheroes.
Like Jupiter's Legacy, which I heard didn't get that well of a review. I feel like I only heard a couple of reviews, but it was kind of slow, a little dragged on. I saw the first couple episodes. I think it's all right, but I might finish it just to get my overall opinion. But yeah, I completely agree. Everyone's pushing the superhero stuff.
Absolutely. We also have here James McAvoy and Sharon Horgan star in the first look at Stephen Daldry's Together. The film follows a couple who was forced to reevaluate themselves and the relationship during the entire, and this is the worst part about this movie, UK COVID-19 lockdown. Who's asking for a movie about COVID? Come on. I like your concept here where it's like, okay, they had to deal with their relationship during the lockdown. But at the same time, it's like, you think people really want to go after COVID is over and go watch a movie about coronavirus? No, people want to be done with it. They just don't ever want to talk about it ever again.
Fast and Furious. Chaos.
Exactly. We also had Paul Schrader's The Card Counter release on September 10th. It is now, I believe it moved a couple days. The film stars Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish, Ty Sheridan, and Willem Dafoe. I know we had talked about this at the beginning, like a couple of months back, because they had released that like picture of Oscar Isaac with like a gun and he looked badass. I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of these projects that I've been talking about. This one, though, you want to get into a little controversy. Zachary Quinto and Billy Porter have been cast in The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder for Disney+. They will play a mixed race adoptive parent duo to a 14-year-old activist, Maya Lebowitz Jenkins, voiced by Keke Palmer. Now, remember a second ago when I talked about how there are threads on Twitter where things can become echo chambers. So underneath this thread, they released this image of it's a white man and a black man who adopt this girl who obviously is an activist, right? And everybody on Twitter was like, why are they making this about, activism? Why do they have a black and white, couple? Okay. And it was, everybody was just hating on it. And I was like, why do you guys give a shit so much? Like, just don't watch it. Just don't support it. Like but to go and aimlessly just spread hate online because you just don't agree with the direction they're going in. It's like, you have better things to do with your time than go online and just hate on these things, you know? Because, you know, and it was weird because it was both sides of the aisle, right and left, that were like, oh, why is there a white and black gay couple? And I was like, yeah. Why do you, like, once again, why do you care so much? Like, let these people live their lives. Let Disney do whatever they want. Like, they already do it anyways. Like, it's so weird, bro. But like I said, that thread was like an echo chamber. Everybody had the same opinion, and I was like, why is nobody here just like, why do you guys care so much? Or like
mob
even
mentality.
Just like, yeah, it was like mob mentality. So it's so freaking weird. Anyways, that's as far as my big headlines. I got some light news here. So if you got some other stuff, if you want to jump into it.
Well, recently we just got a live animated poster for the brand new Snake Eyes film. Now, I want to hear, if you're looking forward to Snake Eyes, because I know G.I. Joe hasn't done too well in the past, but Snake Eyes could be a shift. We have Henry Golding, of course, is the main actor that's playing Snake Eyes himself. We got photos of Storm Shadow, Scarlet Baroness, Akiko. These are from Entertainment Weekly, and the trailer's coming out this Sunday, the 16th. So if it's past then, the trailer's already out. I'm sure we'll give you guys some inside look on what we think on it. And as well as continuing on here, let me see if I have any bigger ones. Masters of the Universe, of course, He-Man and Skeletor. I don't know too much about this, but I know it's classic. They're doing a remake of it from Kevin Smith, surprisingly. Nice. It's going to be called Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's a series coming July 23rd on Netflix. They have photos out. Looks pretty cool. Animation looks great. Mark Hamill's voiced Skeletor. That's nice.
Ooh, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also get another inside look at some photos of a brand new Cinderella remake. Another Cinderella, which is surprising because it seems like these come out every blue moon, every
couple of years, right? They're like, hey, let's make a Cinderella remake. Okay.
Yeah. This is coming for Prime Video in September this year. Camila Cabello is playing Cinderella. And then we have also Nicholas Galitzine. Billy Porter is the fairy godmother. There's a lot of, it's a cool cast, but another remake of the classic story we all know. As well as, I think you're a fan of Psych. Have you enjoyed Psych? Did you ever watch that or
no?
Not your thing? Oh.
Not really. Okay. I didn't ever really get into it that much, but I know that there's people out there who would like watch that show religiously. So
it's coming back for a third revival movie, Psych 3. This is Gus. Now I know that they have had films, but I've yet to see them. So a little small summary in the film. In preparation for a shotgun wedding before the birth of baby Guster, Sean and Goomzilla Gus go rogue in an attempt to track down Celine's estranged husband as Lasseter grapples with the future of his career. So, nice little summary. Seems cool. I'm sure you guys can be hyped for that. As well as we have some news on Jungle Cruise. Of course, this is based on the classic Disney Parks ride starring The Rock and Emily Blunt. It's going to be coming to screens July 30th. We can look forward to that. It's also coming out to Disney Plus with Premier Access. You're gonna have to pay $30 if you want to see it. But
I hate those words. I hate the words Premier Access.
Premier Access. It is cringy words. They are cringy words.
It's super cringe. Mm-hmm. I got I think like 4 light news headlines here. I'm gonna run through them. Ryan Reynolds, Samuel Jackson, Salma Hayek, Antonio Banderas, and Morgan Freeman star in a new trailer for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So is this a sequel? This is a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. The film releases on July 16th in theaters. I watched the trailer for that, and it looks very chaotic. I will say that. It looks very chaotic. But, they got a sequel for that other one, so we'll see how it goes. And speaking of sequels, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has wrapped filming in Vancouver, with Knuckles being reportedly, coming out, making his debut in this. I think that's exciting. Everybody loves Knuckles. He's the red one.
There was some set photos, too. People were on set, and they saw, like, the puppets of them. And they showed them how they looked on like a set, and it looked kind of funny.
That's kind of funny. Marvel reportedly keeping an eye on Henry Cavill. Now, we've talked about Henry Cavill and Marvel, but I guess they're still waiting to see if they actually like release him from playing Superman or what the deal is. Or I think Marvel's just waiting. They're just like, we're gonna scoop you up, bro. Just let us know when you're clear. Like when the contract's done, then you don't like have to report it back to DC. Or Warner Brothers. So that's cool. I have 2 Star Wars headlines. Surprisingly, no Star Wars news except this week, right? Kind of crazy. Daisy Ridley apparently in talks to return to Star Wars. And I think we had talked about how they were working on a series for her son, like Rey's son going through the galaxy or something. And maybe she's in that. Maybe they are doing that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
It sounds a lot better than whatever they have planned for her. So
Yeah, I feel like poor Daisy. She's not getting a lot of jobs after Star Wars.
no, and it's unfortunate. And and maybe it's because of the fact that those movies weren't that great.
Yeah, true.
And now they're trying to push Kevin Feige to be the head of Lucasfilm, and he just came out this week and said, "I have no ambition to be the head of Lucasfilm. I'm happy being the head of Marvel."
Yeah.
But they know that he's so good at being a creative and being a producer that they're like, maybe you can save the Star Wars universe, or you know what? Why don't you guys just clone Kevin Feige? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd be it right there. That's the play.
That would be crazy. But anyways, I got one last one here before we get into our recommendations. Monsters at Work dropped a new look at the Office crew ahead of July 2nd. And it actually looks interesting. They all look like a bunch of different monster characters, not necessarily anything we've seen before, nothing like Monsters University or even Monsters Inc. It's like a completely new batch of characters, which is exciting for this show. So, yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I got my recommendation. So whenever you're ready.
Just 2 quick ones left real quick. I'll just say real quick. Miss Marvel wrap production. So final 2 episodes were shot in Thailand. We could see a teaser soon, potentially. Exciting about that one. And then Enola Holmes 2 is coming to Netflix. Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill are coming back.
There he is.
That's exciting. He's coming back.
Henry Cavill. That's probably what Marvel's like. Oh, you're doing Mysteryverse right now. Oh,
he's doing his own Mysteryverse. Yeah,
you're doing Mysteryverse right now.
Yeah,
bro. Come to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. All right. For my recommendation, I'm going to recommend Django Unchained, a classic.
That's a good movie.
Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, I'm glad you like it too. I think it's great. I had to see it for my class. We're learning about that for I have a Tarantino class for my film major. It's surprisingly hilarious. Yeah, so I had to watch that film, and I was like, you know what? I got to recommend it because it's good. It's really good. But what about you?
This week, I'm actually recommending something a little different. It's a trailer. I'm recommending a trailer if you haven't watched it. Solos, a show we had discussed a couple weeks ago, actually dropped their trailer this week, and it is so good. The trailer actually kind of sent some emotions through my body as I was watching it, because the soundtrack is great, the freaking set design, the production design, everything about it just looks beautiful, and the actors look amazing. It all looks futuristic, and the trailer says 7 profound stories all connected by one profound connection. And I'm so interested in knowing what that is, but I think what it might be is just this idea of when they're all alone, they're all connected because they're all alone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's what it is, but they also showed like future tech where they have like kind of like in time where they have like wrists that have like holographic stuff on it. It looks cool, but if you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend it. Like that's my recommendation. Go watch that trailer because it is so cool. And with that, we end the show.
That's it. We wrapped everything, guys. Another fun episode. Another fun week. I'm not gonna lie.
That one was fun. I feel like there was a lot of different like stories and like unique, like different, like polar
good
opposites.
Assortment, yeah, for once.
Good assortment. yeah, great assortment. And I'm excited to see what we come up with, what we talk about next week. So thank you guys so much for all our audio platform listeners. Thank you, because you guys are the backbone of this podcast, because podcasts are supposed to be about audio. And we just hope you guys have been enjoying Freeze Frame every single week, because we enjoy, talking about the news and discussing what goes on in Hollywood as far as the pop culture side, and, just informing you guys on all things having to do with movies and TV. So thank you guys so much for joining us. See you guys later.
Bye, everybody.